She's lying on the floor. She's not moving. I open the suitcase. I lift her. I place her inside. I shut the suitcase.
This is the suitcase killer, Rosendo Rodriguez III, a reserve Marine who would be given the death penalty for one of the most horrific cases Texas has ever seen.
The man who became known as the suitcase killer is set to die this evening by lethal injection.
But to understand what led him to an execution, we will need to uncover every piece of evidence that he left behind over the course of 14 years. Because behind each one are answers. Answers that will prove Summer was never his only victim.
He is just a horrible, horrible person.
Before he closed his eyes, he began to sing, "Here I Go."
He doesn't deserve to be on this earth.
I checked to see if she was still breathing. I noticed that she quit. She stopped fighting.
He wasn't a bit sorry. He didn't care. He's only interested in himself. He just sociopath.
These are Rosendo Rodriguez's last words. "State may have my body, but not my soul."
On September 13th, 2005, workers at a trash dump in Lubbock, Texas made a discovery that would haunt them for life. In a suitcase, they found the body of 29-year-old Summer Baldwin. Full of life but struggling with substance use disorder, Summer had friends throughout the city that immediately noticed she was missing and were devastated to learn of her death. Tips from friends flooded in about her getting into a red truck the night she disappeared, but that wasn't the only tip. Inside the suitcase, police discovered a UPC number, a universal product code, which led them to where the suitcase had been sold, a local Walmart just down the street.
After speaking with the surveillance team there, they were able to discover the footage of 25-year-old Rosendo Rodriguez III purchasing the suitcase at 3 in the morning, just hours after Summer had been last seen. Immediately after, he was pictured getting into a red truck matching the description of the vehicle she was last seen getting into. Rosendo, who wasn't a local, had been in town for a volunteer training program for the Marines, a job which thankfully meant that his DNA was already on file, and it was a perfect match for some of the evidence found with Summer's remains. After he initially refused to speak to police upon his arrest, he eventually caved, telling them a version of events that he felt made him look good. But you can judge that for yourself. The following footage was provided to us by the Lubbock Police Department.
Let me go on to the weekend of September 9th, 2005.
Yes.
My understanding that you had come to Lubbock in reference to training for the Marines, gaining reference to the military map to Lubbock. Right?
Yes, sir.
And how did you arrive on them?
I flew in, sir.
On what?
Southwest Airlines.
Southwest Airlines.
Yes, sir. We had a drill weekend that weekend, and also they had called and asked for volunteers for the Hurricane Katrina relief, and I, as well as 20 other Marines, have volunteered to go out there. Every time that they had called from the Reserve Center, I volunteered to go to Fort Hood for 2 weeks. I didn't need to go for an AT those 2 weeks. I volunteered to go to a honor guard.
Right now, I just want to kind of stick to that weekend.
Oh, okay.
On the weekend of the 9th, you say you flew in on Friday?
Yes.
In Southwest.
Yes.
Did you obtain any transportation?
Yes, sir, I did. I went to Enterprise Rental Car.
Enterprise Rental Car. Is that where you rented the red Dodge pickup?
Yes.
Tell me about that. Was there any special reason you rented the Dodge?
The reason being is because they had told us that we were going to be possibly deployed for the Hurricane Katrina relief. We were going to ride in a convoy to Texarkana. Then from Texarkana, we would go down to New Orleans to go down and help out. But they ended up putting us on standby after all. If I would have got a car, taken a car from San Antonio, I would have had to leave it up there in Lubbock, so I got a truck.
Anything that you think is relevant
Yes.
involving this case, let's go ahead and step back to that. Anything that you think is relevant, go ahead and explain to me. Keep in mind that this entire conversation is being recorded. Okay? Be as detailed as possible about what the information you're telling me. All right? Go ahead.
Okay, Saturday, I had gotten out of, Saturday night, I had gotten out of jail. Went to the hotel, got showered, squared away, everything. I was going to go down to Whataburger, got something to eat. And then I came out And as I was driving down Q, I had noticed a woman. She was walking down the street. So I
Stop for just a moment. Which hotel are you saying that you had stayed at?
Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn, the one there at 8th and Avenue Q?
Yes, sir.
And specifically, what do you recall the room that you stayed in?
60, like I believe it was 609.
609, that's the information that we had as well. Okay. Go ahead, Al.
So I was driving down the street and I noticed a woman. She was walking as you're going north, I noticed that she was on the right side of the street. So I pulled up and she was walking like this and looked like she was distressed. She was crying. So I was like, "Excuse me, are you all right?" She goes, "Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine." I was like, did you need some help? Are you in trouble or something? And she's like, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Just, I was like, can you give me a ride?" I was like, "I'm fine." So she gets in the truck, we go, and I was like, "Look, do you want me to call the police or something?" It looked like, I could tell something was wrong because she was distressed about something. So she's like, "Yes, if you can help me out, that's fine, but I don't want you to call the cops." She obviously did not want to have me call the authorities. So I told her, "Well, what happened? Did you get in a fight or something?" She goes, "Well, she was telling me that she had gotten into some kind of altercation with," and she said it like this, not necessarily like a racial intonation, but she said like, "Okay, well, did you need me to did you just need to get cleaned up or something?" She's like, "Yes, if you don't mind, I'm fine." So we went to the room there at the Holiday Inn at 609. We go upstairs, we walk inside, and she goes, she uses a restroom, she wipes off her face, everything. We sit down, I ask her, "Are you okay? Are you, all right?" She's like, "I'm fine. I just need to, calm down. Is it cool if I use your phone?" Go ahead. She goes, she makes a phone call. I didn't pay attention to the gist of the conversation. I was watching TV. I said, "Did you need me to take you anywhere?" She goes, "Oh, would you mind taking me home?" I said, "That's fine." So we go downstairs, get in the truck. Before we leave, she goes, "Is it cool if we go by the 7-Eleven?" I said, "Sure." It's a 7-Eleven that's located right across the street from the hotel. So we go over there. She goes inside. She gets a couple items. As she's coming out, I guess she recognized some people. Because she goes into her car, she starts talking to a couple of folks. And after she's down there, she's there for about 5-10 minutes. She gets up, she comes around to the truck, she gets in, and then she tells me, she directs me to go over to 26th Avenue N. I was like, all right. So we go, and there's a street that's perpendicular to 26. I'm not really sure which one it is. I guess it was a westernmost one. Here's 26, here's the other street. It was either N or P, I'm not sure. I pull up, and I say, and she does not want me to pull in front of the house. All she wants me to do is just stop, let her go at the other side of the street. She's going to walk the rest of the way. I go, and I let her go, turn around, go back to the hotel.
You say that you were driving on Avenue Q northbound, and you see her walking along the side of the road, and you decide to stop. Why did you decide to stop?
Just because she was like this, crying, and if you were any kind of, if you saw someone, walking down the street, obviously something was wrong, just like that. Somebody, you're going to stop and you're going to say, "Hey, are you all right?"
What a good guy, right? Stopping to help a poor, struggling woman and expecting nothing in return. Unfortunately, this isn't a Disney movie, and Rosendo is far from Prince Charming. Because obviously this interaction didn't happen. There's no evidence that Rosendo picked Summer or anyone up the night prior to Summer's murder. And if he did, he wasn't inviting them over to use his shower and leave. Because the area that he's describing picking up this stranger is an area that is well known for exotic work. And I don't know about you, but Rosendo doesn't strike me as the kind of person who is just looking for someone to talk to.
Go ahead into Sunday now.
Into Sunday, I woke up about probably 0500, went to drill, got out of drill about, I'd say about maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock. Went to the hotel. Went upstairs, got dressed, got squared away, and called my friend Chris. We went out to the library to go. Actually, I went to go pick him up and stayed at his apartment and talked to him for a while. We were going to go see a movie, but we ended up going to the library.
The library, just for anyone who's not from Lubbock, what is the library?
The library it's a bar. It's over in the Depot District. The name of it is a library. It's just it's a common running joke. Most parents often wonder where their kids are at, and they tell them they're at the library. You know, it's a bar. So technically, they're not lying. So.
And how long do y'all stay there?
We stayed there just probably about till I'd say maybe 12:30, 1. No, we didn't shut the place down. Just
So now you're actually getting into the Monday morning.
yes.
Right. And about how much alcohol did you consume there at the library?
I'd say about maybe 3 beers.
About 3 years?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and go forward now.
Yes.
So you leave the library approximately 1 a.m. and you're driving the red pickup truck, correct?
Yes.
And where do y'all go?
Take him back to Jefferson Commons.
And was that his request, your decision? What?
Well, he was riding with me. I went to go pick him up, so there was naturally have to.
So you dropped him off there at Jefferson Commons.
Yes.
And then proceed forward with what you do next.
I dropped him off at about probably around 1:30, and it was probably around, I'd say, 24th, about 24th and Q, 22nd and Q, that I noticed Summer. She was walking down the road on the right side.
24th and Q?
About 24th, 22nd.
And this is about what time?
I'd say about 1:30, 2 o'clock.
And you notice you're walking down the road.
Yes.
What brought your attention to her?
She looked familiar. So I went, pulled up next to her. I was like, hey, it's like, how you doing? Like that. She's like, oh, fine. You know, she was like, she kind of looked a little, I guess you'd say, out of it. You know, she was like a little bit, this motion. And I was like, are you sure you're all right? And she's like, no, I'm fine. And I was like, did you need a ride somewhere? She goes, is it cool if we just come and chill at your place? Like that. Her voice is kind of wavered. I was like, yeah, that's fine. You know, just want to hang out. So she gets in the truck and we go to the hotel.
This is the same hotel Holiday Inn?
Yes, sir.
They have. So y'all go to the motel room. Is there anybody else there with you?
Yes.
Explain what goes on.
Okay. Well, we sat on the bed. The lights were off. We were watching TV, and I just asked her, you know, how are you doing so far? I said, fine. Just made idle chit chat, and then, you know, we were in kind of close proximity, so we ended up, you know, kind of like leaning towards each other. We ended up kissing.
Okay. So y'all end up kissing. Be as detailed as possible. Explain to me what you're talking about as far as what brought the conversation of kissing.
Well, we were just in close proximity and just talking, you know, just about. She was telling me, you know, these things like, you know, she had moved to Lubbock and everything else. And we were just watching TV and we just leaned over and started kissing.
This is on the bed.
Yes.
Sadly, Summer was involved in that kind of work to fuel an addiction that she fell into while living in Washington state. Police were well aware of this, and several of Summer's friends made sure they knew that. And I don't know about you, but a man on a business trip picking up a you-know-what worker up just to hang out at their motel doesn't exactly pass the smell test for me. Especially when you consider the fact that Rosendo's entire unit was staying at a different hotel, and he went out of his way to request staying away from anyone who knew him.
So let's move forward to the point where you say y'all start kissing, and the ultimately.
Yes, sir.
Explain in detail what occurred as far as from the kissing to the point where you're having intercourse. Describe what's going on.
We start, kissing, fondling each other. She removes her clothes, I remove mine, and as we're sitting there, we just start having, as we're having, she seemed, I guess you'd say, a little agitated, maybe. It was, she appeared to, she was kind of like breathing a little hard, it sounded as if she was like just, having a really, like just having a hard time, I guess.
Okay.
And I go, it's probably about maybe 10 minutes, and then I stop.
Let me stop there for a second and kind of get a little bit more detail here. You say we're using
Yes.
and where had you obtained?
I had bought it from I believe it was across the street from someone.
When did you purchase that?
I had bought that probably at the beginning of the weekend.
Beginning of the week?
Around the beginning of the weekend, maybe let's say maybe even that night, I believe. Beginning of the weekend, somewhere around there. I purchased them at the 7-Eleven because I've been there, I've been at the 7-Eleven several times.
But you don't recall if it was that night or if you purchased it. You say at the beginning of the weekend, now you're saying it may have been that night.
It might have been that night. I've been to the 7-Eleven several times. I got purchased items. I got Gatorade, something like that.
And you were speaking about.
Yes.
Was it multiple?
How is that?
Approximately how many?
Probably about 3 or 4.
Explain the that you were having as far as when you were involved. Was it the physical position that you both were in and where it occurred at?
Gosh, probably her on the bed. She was lying on her back, and then also her and her back, and we were just like moving around on the bed as she was on her back.
Mm-hmm.
We'd end up being like over here, then we'd like scoot over here, and scoot over here.
Okay. And that y'all had, was it just normal session? Was it just normal? Did y'all do anything that some people might consider a little bit unusual?
Now, this may seem like an invasive or unnecessary question, but in reality, it may be a nail in the coffin. Summer's injuries in her intimate areas prove that they were not the result of a typical encounter. Rosendo denying that they did anything unusual takes away his ability to say that their interaction was consensual later on.
She was discomforted by it. She was discomforted, it looked like kind of like the whole time. So.
What do you mean she was discomforted? Was she verbally saying she was discomforted?
No, she like had like this look on her face like she was pained.
Okay. And is that the whole time that when you started?
Yeah, it was the whole time. That's right.
But yet y'all continued on for 10 minutes.
Yes.
And why was that?
I asked her, I was like, "Are you fine?" She's like, "Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine."
Let's go forward now. You say that and you say complete. Then what?
After we were done, I go get a pair of shorts, turn on the light, go around to go use the restroom. And I go to the sink, wash myself off. And as I'm coming back around, she's sitting, she's facing away from me. Like, here's the edge of the bed, here's the chair, here's the table. And she's leaning over, and it looks like, I heard a light, she's lighting something. I figured that, she was lighting a cigarette maybe. It was a smoking room, I figured, it wasn't, when I walked up, I saw that she had a pipe. I didn't think, I didn't think she was like that. She's lighting a pipe. It was like metallic with, it was like silver with like little gold nubs. And at the end, it looks like one of those things that you used to scrub pots with, like a SOS or like a Brillo. And when I saw that, I told her, I was like, hey, what are you doing? And she didn't respond. She just kept lighting it. It was a metallic burning smell, like a chemical smell. And I told her, hey, don't do that. And I took the pipe away. I was like, hey, don't do that stuff. She got irate at that point. She said, I'll bring back, this and that. I was like, no, I don't want you to smoke that in here. Why don't you just go ahead and get dressed? And
So at this point, she's still told.
yes, sir.
So does she begin getting dressed?
No. She
Explain to me
reaches.
as detailed as possible.
So I turn around, but I figure she's going for her clothes. She goes into her bag. She pulls out a knife. It's one of those little yellow fold-out ones. It looks yellowish, kind of like bone or wood. And she stands up and she comes towards me. She was going to give me my knife. At that point, thinking, oh shit. It's like, look. It's like, take it, just get dressed, leave. She goes, and everything else like that. She starts coming towards me. She asks, where's your wallet? I told her, look, it's over there. It's just don't swipe at me. Don't cut me, please.
Once again, Rosendo's story has detectives rolling their eyes. Because, look, I'm not a thief, but if Summer's intent all along was to rob him, wouldn't she have done it before the events he's described, rather than after they had a supposed consensual encounter?
She has the knife, like, you're me, I'm her. She has a knife in her right hand. Now she comes towards me, I reach for her wrist, the one that has the knife, and I go and I pull her arm around, like this. Like that.
So you pull the arm around behind her?
Yes, sir.
And where are you at? You're behind her at this point?
Yes, sir.
And where are y'all standing in the room?
We're standing still kind of, like, here's the bed, there's the table, there's the chair. We're standing up right here in front of the bed. So as I have her there, I grab her hand, the one that has a knife in it. I grab it with this hand, and with my other hand, I have it around her like this.
Okay.
Around her throat, like that.
You have her arm pulled around her throat?
No,
Her arm.
her arm is right here with the knife, and it's right here. That's what her arm is. My arm came around her neck like that. And I tell her, hey, quit, drop the knife, quit, this ain't, I'm not, I was like, just, quit trying to, swinging her arm back and forth. She's on all this. We're starting to struggle. We fall kind of like towards the bed on the, like where the chair and the table is. And she had this, it was like just this grunting sound, like that. And she kept swinging the knife around, and it's right there. She's like, grabbing at my arm with the knife. that's when I noticed her nose started bleeding. Like this gush of like blood just comes down. Like right there by the bed, kind of like on the floor. Also, just on the side, right there. She rears back. We kind of fall back. I don't fall. We just stumble, and we start falling back, and towards where the door was. Going back towards the door. She's still, kicking. I've got a hold of her hand, the knife still flicking around. And I'm going over towards the door and I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm going to throw her out. But the only thing is that if I let go of her hand, the knife's going to come out swinging. If I let go of her arm, she's going to start swinging with the arm. So instead, we're sitting there, we're fighting by the door. And I tell her, drop the knife, let it go, She still wouldn't. Finally, I noticed that, she quit, she stopped fighting. So I go and I let her go. She was lying across from where the carpet meets the tile floor from the bathroom. I sit down on the toilet. And at this point, I'm panicking. I'm freaking out. My arm is sitting there. It's shaking because I had it rigid for so long. She's lying on the floor. She's not moving. She's lying on the floor. She's not moving. I'm sitting there. Just scared. So I go and I check to see if she was still breathing. I check her pulse on her wrist and there was nothing. Okay. Just a million things started running through my mind.
What were those?
I couldn't believe what was happening. I just got. I didn't know what to do.
What you don't do is literally anything that Rosendo has done here. The injuries to Summer's body were extensive, including individual areas that suffered bruising or fractures. The marks on her body weren't marks from someone simply trying to get her to stop coming towards them. The marks were from someone who enjoyed seeing her in pain.
I put on my shirt. I put on I had sandals. And I thought I should have called him.
During this time that you're deliberating on what to do, you say you have the presence of mind to check your pulse. Correct? In your military training, did you receive any first aid training?
Yes, sir.
Did you receive any training as far as CPR?
Yes, sir. The only thing was that her face was, she had blood, like on her nose, on her mouth.
You were a trained Marine, though, correct?
Yes.
Did you attempt CPR?
No. I didn't. After I checked her, I didn't get a pulse. I didn't think to try to resuscitate. I went downstairs, got in the truck, drove to Walmart, Bought a suitcase.
And is this the Walmart? Which Walmart is this?
It's the one over on South Loop. I bought a suitcase and I bought some clothes because there was blood there. I left, went back to the hotel.
So you bought a suitcase and disposable gloves?
Yes.
And you paid for those how?
I used a card.
You paid a card?
Yes.
Go ahead and go for it. What do you decide to do next?
Go to the hotel and I open the suitcase. I lift her and I place her inside. I shut the suitcase.
And so you put her in the suitcase. Do you recall how you had to place her in the suitcase? Can you describe that to me?
Like that.
Indicating that you had to like fold her body up to get in there, is that correct?
A little.
You say a little. Did you have to break anything,
No, sir.
hit anything like that, or were you able to just bend her?
No, sir. It
body?
was just just all I did was just place her in there. It wasn't any kind of like
So you placed her.
Yes, sir.
What did you do next?
I went and I got one of those Holiday Inn, the dry clean bags that they have there in the closet. I got it. I collected her clothing, got some of the hotel towels, wiped up some of the blood. By this time, I already had the gloves on.
Okay.
Wiped up some of the blood, placed all these articles in the bag. There was a sheet on the bed that I had taken off. Had a little bit of blood on it. Placed it in the bag. As I was going through, I had noticed that there were two knives. One was metallic, and the other one was the one that was over there by the bathroom, the one that she had. I placed those, I put them on the bed. After that, the elevator came. I went downstairs and took the suitcase and the bag, the clothing, the handbag. I put it in the truck. I got in the truck. I went down and over by where the Guadalupe Center is. Okay. I turn down that street where here's the Guadalupe Center. Right? There's a street. I turn right, and then I take like another right in a residential neighborhood. I pull into an alley, and I go down, and I pull around to a dumpster that's at the end. And I remember it had like, there's the alley, then there's some grass with like 3 trees on it. The dumpster's right here in the alley, and there's a street running behind that. And I pick up the suitcase, place it in the dumpster, I drive down, take the bag and and her handbag, her purse, throw it in the dumpster. Probably like maybe about a few dumpsters down, and then I leave.
The district attorney assigned to the case described Rosendo's retelling of events as if he was talking about going for a coffee, and that couldn't be more accurate. In fact, his actions in the hours after her murder reflect this. Soon after he came back to the hotel room from dumping her body, he got gussied up and took a selfie in the hotel mirror, one that promptly went on to one of his many dating profiles. And there was more.
Okay. What did you do next?
I got in the truck. I went to the hotel. Sat there. I stayed up for a while. Just kind of out of it. I couldn't believe what just happened. So after a while, I went to sleep.
Okay, so you went to sleep. About what time was that?
Maybe about 8 o'clock.
8 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
And this is Monday morning.
Yes, sir.
Did you go over to 7-Eleven any time about that?
I might have. The only thing I remember else doing was probably maybe going to Chick-fil-A, going to go see something to eat, going to 7-Eleven, made an ATM withdrawal. That was about it.
You go back to your room.
Yes, sir.
Or what did you do after that?
I just sat there. I got a movie. Watched Star Wars.
Okay. So you rented a movie in the motel room?
Yes, sir.
About what time was that?
That I couldn't quite say. Probably about maybe 4:35. I would imagine. I don't know.
So you rent Star Wars?
Yes, sir.
And you watched Star Wars. Did you call anyone else?
Uh,
That day?
I tried calling. Probably Chris. I may have talked to my parents.
I'll give you this. We've already talked to Chris. Do you recall calling Chris?
I might have. I don't know. I think he tried calling me also.
Do you recall talking with Chris and saying that you wanted to hang out?
He had mentioned the fact that he wanted to hang out, but that he couldn't. He had a bunch of stuff to do. He was tired.
So you recall that conversation?
Yes, sir.
When you checked out, when was that?
It was the next morning.
Tuesday morning?
Yes, sir.
About what time?
It was probably at around maybe 9, 10 o'clock. I'm not quite sure. I had to catch a bus in Greyhound.
We have copies of that information. We had 2 bags.
Yes, sir.
On the bus. How many bags did you have?
I had 2 duffel bags, and then I had my combat backpack.
And you decided to take the knives with you,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Why did you do that?
Because at a later point, I wanted to contact the authorities.
And you say that at a later point you wanted to contact the police, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I'm assuming you're saying that you wanted to contact authorities to talk about what happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your father's an attorney, right?
Yes, sir.
How long has he been an attorney?
I've graduated tech law in about 1976, I think.
So you say that he's been an attorney for probably close to 30 years.
Yes, sir.
Would you believe that your knowledge of the legal process, the judicial system, is probably a little bit above the average individual because of your association with your father?
I would say so. I mean, it's a logical guess.
Hence, you took the knives with you that you're saying that were involved in this matter, right? Now, if I understood you correctly, you say that you discarded that you say she had,
Yes, sir.
that you threw it away.
Yes.
How come you didn't?
Because I'm not.
This matter is involving the death of an individual, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you say the reason it started all this, according to you, is because of the
Right.
but yet you discard.
Yeah.
Is that correct? What you're saying?
Yes, sir. Because if I would have had this pipe on me and say, I don't know, like a police officer or something, they walk through, you can't. I do not want to carry any kind of drugs on me. Yes, sir.
You don't want to carry any kind of drugs, but you're transporting a deceased person's stuff in the suitcase.
Like,
You're saying you've got an above average perception of the legal system,
yes, sir.
enough to take these knives you say were involved. But the whole matter started with and you discard it. Yet you're carrying a deceased person's body around stuff in the suitcase.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just wanting to clarify.
No, I understand.
Rosendo's father, Rosendo II, was a prominent attorney for nearly 2 decades. According to his own words, he assaulted his wife often and was an alcoholic, which negatively influenced Rosendo III, which isn't the defense that either of them thinks it is for these heinous actions.
There was 2 sets of gloves found in that bag. I'll give you that we have recovered the bag, which was discarded in the trash. And it had information evidence in it which appeared appears at this time you haven't done the DNA on it, but it appears to be consistent with evidence in this case. There's two sets of disposable gloves in there. Why the two sets?
Because whenever you take them out, they like stuck together. So
did you wear both pairs? Wear them at different times?
No, sir, not that I recall. I recall only putting in one pair.
So there wouldn't be any reason for your DNA to be inside both pairs of gloves?
I wouldn't think so.
Did you tell anybody else? Did you tell anybody about this?
No, sir.
Did you seek guidance from anyone, a priest, an attorney,
No,
a
sir.
friend?
No, sir.
Do you recall talking with and some of the things I'm going to ask you now is it's related to this because it involves this entire weekend. But a lot of this is coming down to your word against a female's word that cannot speak for herself because she's no longer here.
Yes, sir.
So, as far as Chris, do you recall talking to him about your experiences in Iraq?
I told him that I've gone through the Marines and it's going to Iraq. Our unit's leaving, I believe, in April.
Okay. Do you recall sharing rather graphic stories with him about instances you've been involved in issues where you've been deployed in Iraq?
Nothing. I told him that I had seen scenes about people being blown up and stuff like that. As far as what they showed us boot camp stuff like that.
Do you recall specifically saying though that you were involved in these, and you were alleging, according to Chris, that you were actually deployed to Iraq?
He asked me if I had been, and I kind of told him I had been over there. But
So you told him you had been deployed to Iraq. Why did you give false information surrounding supposed deployment to Iraq in a wartime situation?
Just because he seemed curious about it, I just kind of fed his imagination.
I'm sorry.
I just kind of fed his imagination.
So you fed his imagination by talking about that. So you did talk to him about issues when you were never actually deployed to Iraq. Is that correct?
You could write Rosendo's war history on a grain of rice. Not once had he ever been deployed to anywhere, let alone Iraq. However, his history at his college fraternity, Chiro, would take a couple of books to fill out. Because what he was doing there paints a picture of a man that should have been stopped much sooner than this interrogation.
Would you say that, was it that one instance that led to you leaving Cairo, as you say, under bad blood, or were there other instances brought forth about inappropriate contact with females?
There were some girls that I had dated there. I talked to one girl while I was dating another one, and they got mad about that, and so everybody was just like, you know what? I was like, maybe it's just best if you leave.
Do you remember those girls' names?
And Malika, Jennifer, and Melvin.
What about allegations of these girls, or all the way?
Those were untrue because I had heard from one of the people that I met that night over at Chris's apartment that they said that yes, they had gotten together and colluded in order to get me kicked out of Cairo.
Do you think any one of those girls in particular, any certain instance that you can recall that you say they colluded? What's one specific instance that you can recall?
When I was sitting there, I was talking to this girl that was over at Chris's apartment. She had said that one of the girls in Melda had been was talking to her one night after a party and said that yes, that she had.
I'm talking about specific instance that you say maybe taken out of context or something of that nature. Did you ever have any of the girls from Cairo?
Yes.
How many?
About I'd say maybe 5.
About 5 girls. And what?
Just
you in general, let's say.
It depends if I meet a girl who like I really like, then it's emotional, it's caring. But if I meet a girl that if we meet for maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, it's like a 6-month fling, something like that. It just depends on the situation. It's either serious or it's not.
Would it be, or do you recall making a phrase to someone that you was like a handshake? It's a way to say hello and it's a way to say goodbye. Do you recall making that comment to someone?
No, nothing like that. Just I've remarked that it's casual at times. So it's not. People know that people that I get involved with, that I do get emotional and I do care for them. But it's not like it's not every instance or situation.
Okay. Has there ever been an allegation against you for
As far as like any of the stuff that's false and caught but not that I would know.
Do you recall working at the South Plains Mall at a place called Image Plus?
Yes, sir.
Back in 2003?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall talking to an investigator with the Lubbock Police Department about an allegation that was made against you?
I do remember that. But as far as he said that someone that was unidentified, and I was never contacted about it again.
Tell me about the instance where you went to this girl's house.
I had never went by, sir.
You never went by?
No, sir. No, sir.
That's what you're saying you recall.
Yes, sir.
Throughout his time at Texas Tech University, Rosendo was the alleged perpetrator in numerous attacks on women. All of the stories told to police after his arrest by women who didn't even know one another were nearly identical. Rosendo would woo them, charm them, and then in the midst of an encounter would become violent. After the encounter, he would send the women off, pat them on the head, and tell them things were going to be fine. They would then never hear from him again. And tragically, this didn't stop at Texas Tech.
Do you recall talking to a female and making a statement that you knew 7 different ways to kill somebody with your bare hands?
No, sir.
No, you say you don't recall ever saying that?
No, sir.
No. Would it be fair to say that you know 7 different ways to kill somebody with your bare hands?
You can, but I never.
From your training in the Marines, did you receive any training on how to terminate someone's life with your bare hands on?
Yes.
Would it be more than one way?
Yes.
The manner that you demonstrated to me just a moment ago, in reference to this, was that any of the training that you had received?
As far as that.
The throat hold?
Yes, sir.
So that was training that you had received in the Marines?
Yes, sir. But it's only meant as a submissive hold. It's not meant as lethal.
But apparently somehow it turned out to be.
Yes, sir.
Did you make any other physical contact with her? Any type of hitting?
No, sir.
Any type of shoving?
No, sir.
Did you knock her to the floor?
No, sir.
Did you push her against the wall?
No, sir.
You've also received training on how to resuscitate someone.
Yes, sir.
Telling me from your own words just a moment ago that you had caused this woman to be laying on the floor with no pulse, and you don't respond. You say you're in control enough to control your own temper and your own actions, and yet you say you're so out of control that you don't know what to do. You don't know how to give CPR, even though you've been trained to do that. Can you explain to me, explain to Albert, Corporal Sutton, and ultimately the district attorney's office and a jury, can you explain to me why you did that, or why you failed to act?
Because when I was sitting there on the toilet, I figured, all right, I didn't think. I was panicking. I couldn't believe what just happened. When I looked down at her, her face is covered in blood. I didn't want to put, my mouth, on her, on over her mouth. I just didn't think to do it.
Okay. Yet,
I was panicking at that point.
okay. And you had her just minutes before, correct?
Yes.
Intimate. Right.
Yes.
Okay. And then just to recap, so I understand it correctly, you still had the presence of mind to go ahead and then go to Walmart and make these purchases we talked about, the suitcase and the gloves and gun disposal body. How come during that process, having the exceptional or the elevated understanding of the judicial system, did you not call 911?
Because I immediately at that point I thought, my God, what did I do? I panicked about my career in the military. How would I just panicked. I can't. I don't know how else to explain it.
Would it be fair to say that you had stopped panicking when you were watching Star Wars Monday evening?
I had bought the movie just to watch, but I really wasn't paying attention the night.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that you had stopped panicking when you went down to the ATM and got money and went and bought lunch that Monday?
Oh yes, sir.
Okay, so at that point you stopped panicking. How come you didn't call your father, who's an attorney, and ask for advice?
Because it's not something exactly you want to say over the phone. It's something you're going to want to tell somebody up front in person.
Okay. How come, having your elevated understanding of the judicial system, you didn't go ahead and call the police at that point and get your side of the story out? I mean, you had every opportunity to call an attorney.
Yes, sir.
You're buying lunch. You're watching Star Wars. You could easily have called an attorney and had all this counseling before the police even became aware, before you left Lubbock. How come you didn't do that?
It's because I wanted to go to San Antonio and eventually talk to my dad about it.
Rosendo's father was at his trial, as well as his mother and sisters, trying to defend him. They pointed out that Rosendo had a young son to take care of, though they neglected to mention that he had only seen his son 3 times in his entire life, and that his victims, sadly, would never see their families ever again. Because despite what you're about to hear Rosendo say, Summer isn't the only woman he's killed.
You're telling me that she had a knife, and that your back was turned. Okay, you would go ahead and turn.
Okay.
And you're saying that she had a knife in her right hand.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Demonstrate to me in the sequence of events what had occurred in this case.
Out of the pipe, I was going, looked, turned. She was sitting there. She was fumbling around in the bag.
Okay. Where's the doorway at this point? Point to the doorway.
Right there.
So there's the doorway directly in front of you. She's standing behind you with a knife.
Yes.
Why didn't you just go to the door and leave?
It's because I didn't want her, running after me to stab me from behind.
Okay.
It's got that. This.
Okay, so you have a hole. Go ahead and just move the hole in the statement. You have this hole here. Okay, she has the knife right here.
Turn this way.
Okay. She has the knife here.
Yes.
Correct. And you're holding her in this choke. And you say she's continuing to move the knife around.
It's about right. Yeah.
Right about there. Okay. Did you sustain any cuts in here?
No, sir. There was
If you go ahead and put your hands back.
there was no cuts, but
No cuts.
she was swinging the.
Okay, so
swinging
now
around.
is it over here or is it over here?
No. It's right here. Keep swinging it back and forth over here, like that. And with her other hand, she's trying to sit here and scratch at me, scratch my arm, something like that. So
She has this. She's trying to get. What she's trying to get? I get it. I guess that you're saying with this hand.
Yes, sir. She's going. She's clawing on my shoulder, on my face.
How long do you say that this type of altercation was going on?
Oh, this?
Yes.
Oh, the whole time. She was moving it back and forth.
Okay, you're saying she's moving back and forth. How long? The duration?
From the time that she, had the knife all the way until I was able to, until she stopped resisting.
Until she stopped. time span?
I'd say about maybe about 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes.
Do you think your actions would have occurred here, Representative?
In defending myself and trying to protect myself, you have a measure of self-worth and self-preservation. As far as like not calling you right off the bat, no. As far as me wanting to contact you all, wanting to sit here have this interview, yes.
So you say that you feel that your actions are appropriate or not?
At the time when I didn't call you, no. But sitting here having this interview, telling the truth, yes.
What about your actions as far as having presence of mind to obtaining a suitcase with gloves so that you didn't get any blood contamination, cross-contamination of DNA, disposing of the body in a dumpster, and disposing of the wallet in a different dumpster? Do you think that represented the proper actions of a Marine, a civilian,
No, sir.
anyone?
No, sir. It's like I said, at that time, I was not, that wasn't a good friend of mine.
Did you know that she was pregnant?
No, sir. No, sir, that I did not know. It wasn't until, I saw the news and everything, and, that, she was possibly pregnant. That's the only time I ever found out. I never knew.
I've been doing this a long time,
Yes, sir.
and I've heard an array of different stories, some true, some not true.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you now, some of the information that you're giving us is not consistent. I'm telling you now that I'm offering you an opportunity to explain this further.
Yes, sir.
Anything you think we need to be made aware of, ultimately a jury needs to be made aware of. This is a good opportunity for you to come forward on this.
Okay, what is it specifically that you're?
You're going to leave it at that. And I'm offering you an opportunity to expound on yourself, what has occurred here. Any of the events that have occurred. Is there any other details that you think the jury needs to be made aware of, or the police department or district attorney's office?
That's what it is. I mean, that's whatever you've asked, whatever you need to know. That's all that I can offer.
And you realize that this information has been completely recorded,
Yes,
served as a voluntary and sworn statement in connection with this criminal investigation.
Clearly, I'm on volition.
It's approximately 11:35 hours. This will conclude the recorded portion of this session.
While doing a deep dive through Rosendo's computer, police discovered that he had been in contact with 16-year-old Joanna Rogers, a young Lubbock girl who went missing during the summer of 2004. Her body had never been found. Desperate for answers and suspecting that Rosendo was involved, police offered him a deal. If he pled guilty to both of their murders and told them what he had done with Joanna's body, they wouldn't pursue the death penalty. Rosendo agreed, telling them that he had met up with Joanna for intimacy, but she became angry, trying to steal money from him. In his version of events, he only killed her in self-defense. Just a reminder here, Joanna did well in school, had no criminal record, and was a kind, smart, loving girl. A girl who likely was wooed and targeted by Rosendo so that he could kill her. With Rosendo's tip on where he dumped her body, police were able to locate Joanna in the same dump that they had discovered Summer. She too had been placed in a suitcase and abandoned. 2 innocent women with 1 perpetrator. A perpetrator who, for the millionth time in his life, decided not to follow the rules. He refused to plead guilty before the court, leading to a full trial for the murder of Summer and Joanna. As a result, he received the death penalty. That death penalty was carried out on March 26, 2018. His final words were, "Lastly, I want everyone to boycott every single business in the state of Texas until all the businesses are pressed to stop the death penalty." He died 20 minutes later. Our thoughts are with the families, friends, and communities that surrounded Summer and Joanna all their lives. Thank you for watching today's video. Whether you're new here or have been with us for a while, check out one of the craziest cases I've ever covered right here, or one of my newest uploads right here.